Ever wonder where Musa or Moses in English really came from? Not just his story, but his bloodline. This isn't just any family tree, it goes way back. I'm talking about lineage of prophets, legends. His ancestors, Yaqub, Ishaq and Ibrahim, names that shaped history. But here's the kicker. Moses was born in the worst possible time. Pharaoh's soldiers were hunting newborn, and yet he survives. How, why, and what did it all mean? Let's break it down. Moses wasn't just any prophet. His bloodline, it runs deep. He came from the children of Israel, specifically from the Levi tribe. Now let's rewind a bit. The children of Israel, who are they? They are the descendants of prophets Yaqub, Jacob alayhi salam, Yaqub, the son of Ishaq, Isaac, and Ishaq, the son of Ibrahim, Abraham alayhi salam. So yeah, Moses' lineage traces back to Ibrahim, a family of prophets. Pretty incredible, right? Now, his parents. His father was named as Imran, an Israelite from the Levites, and his mother, her name isn't in the Quran, but she played a huge role in his story. Speaking of that, Allah reassured her when she had to let him go. وأوحينا إلى أم موسى أن أرضعيه فإذا خفت عليه فألقيه في اليم. And we inspired the mother of Moses, suckle him. But when you fear for him, cast him into the river. Just imagine that with me. The level of trust. Putting your baby in a river, that's the next level faith. Now back to his lineage. His tribe, the Levites, were special. They were known for religious leadership. But in Moses' time, they were enslaved in Egypt, living under Pharaoh's cruelty, and that is where Moses' story really begins. Alright, just picture this with me. Egypt was not a safe place, especially if you were from Bani Israel. They weren't just enslaved, they were oppressed, beaten, worked to the bone, treated like dirt, and Pharaoh, he wasn't just a tyrant. The guy thought he was a god. One day his priest came to him. They had a prophecy. Bad news for him. A boy will be born from Bani Israel, and he'll be the reason for your downfall. And the Pharaoh, he lost it. Fear turned into madness. Kill every Israelite baby boy. No mercy, no exceptions. But then, his advisors gave him a new idea. If you kill them all, who will be your slaves? So, good point, right? So they made a plan. 1 year, kill all the newborn boys. Next year, let them live. This way, Bani Israel wouldn't grow too strong. And the Pharaoh, he'd sleep better at night. And that's where Harun, Moses' brother, comes in. His mother was pregnant during a safe year. So when he was born, no soldiers came knocking. He lived, grew up, no danger. But then, the cycle flipped again. Now imagine you're Moses' mother. Pregnant, terrified. You know what happened next? Pharaoh's soldiers. They're coming for every newborn baby. No hiding, no running, no way out. She's panicking. And then, Allah sends her a message. Don't be afraid, don't be sad. When the time comes, put him in a basket. Let the river carry him away. Wait, what? Put a newborn in a river? That's crazy, I think. But deep inside, she knows. This isn't just any order. It's from Allah Azza wa Jalla. So when the moments come, she places Moses in a basket, wraps him up, kisses him one last time, then she lets go. The basket drifts from the Nile, silent, carried by the water. Now here's the wild part. Of all the places the river could take him, it floats right into Pharaoh's palace. His guards pull it out. Take one look inside and boom, a baby boy. This should have been the end. Pharaoh wanted all the boys dead. But guess who found him first? Asya, Pharaoh's wife. She takes only one look at Moses and her heart melts. وقالت امرأة فرعون قرة عين لي ولك لا تقتلوه. And the Pharaoh's wife said, a comfort to my eyes and yours, do not kill him. And the Pharaoh, he's not happy. But Asya, she is not backing down. She has no kids. She begs him, let's raise him as our own. And just like that, Moses, the boy Pharaoh feared the most, grows up in his own palace. But what about his real mother? Now, Moses is safe, but there is a problem. Newborns? They need milk, of course. And baby Moses, he refuses every nurse in the palace. Pharaoh's people are panicking. What if the baby starves? And then Allah's plan unfolds. Moses' sister, she's been watching, following the basket, making sure he's okay. And when she hears about the problem, she walks up and says, I know someone who can nurse him. And just like that, they bring Moses' real mother to the palace. He drinks, he calms down. And guess what? She gets hired as his nurse. The Pharaoh just paid Moses' mother to raise him. The same baby he wanted dead. ورددناه إلى أمه كي تقر عينها ولا تحزن. So we returned him to his mother so her heart would be at ease and not grieve. So, baby Moses, yeah, he's safe for now, living in Pharaoh's palace. Sounds nice, right? A life of luxury, servant, gold, endless food. But here is the twist. He's grown up inside the enemy's house, the same house that wanted him dead. And Pharaoh, he's clueless. Allah says, وَأَلْقَيْتُ عَلَيْكَ مَحَبَّةً مِّنِّي وَلِتُصْنَعَ عَلَى عَيْنِي. And I cast upon you my love, so that you would be brought up under my eye. Moses was different, smart, strong, curious, and deep inside, he never felt like he belonged. But one day, brothers and sisters, he starts noticing things. His people, Bani Israel, were treated like trash, beaten, whipped, humiliated. And then it hits him. He's one of them. Imagine that moment. Realizing you are not Egyptian, you are not royalty, you are part of the slave nation. And the Pharaoh, not your father, nor your savior. It's your biggest enemy. Now this truth, it shakes Moses to his core, but he's just one man. What can he do? Well, life's about to change fast, really fast. One day Moses walks into the city, and what does he see? A soldier, one of the Pharaoh's men, beating an Israelite. No reason, just because he could. What about Moses? He's furious. He runs over, steps in, defend his people, and in the heat of the moment, he punched the soldier. And that one punch, it's deadly. The man drops, doesn't move, he's gone. And Moses, shocked, panicked, frozen. He didn't mean to kill him, it was an accident. But now, he is in serious trouble. قال هذا من عمل الشيطان إنه عدو مضل مبين. He said, this is from the work of Satan. Truly, he is a clear enemy who misleads. And now, Moses becomes a fugitive. He runs, heart pounding, mind racing. The people in the city, they know. Word spread fast. Pharaoh hears about it. And guess what? He's furious. He orders, find him, kill him. And Moses, he's got no choice. He has to run. And just like that, the prince of Egypt becomes a fugitive. He leaves everything behind. The palace, the wealth, the life he knew. Gone. So at this moment, Moses' life in Egypt was over. The moment he struck that man, everything changed forever. Pharaoh's guards were hunting him, searching every street and every home. There was no trial, no questioning, no second chances. Moses was now a fugitive, a wanted man, marked for death. And there was only one thing left to do: run. No time to back, no time to say goodbye. He just ran. His feet hit the desert floor and he didn't look back. He didn't have food, he didn't have water, just himself and the open land. The weight of exhaustion and guilt sat heavy on his shoulder. قال ربي نجني من القوم الظالمين. He said, my Lord, save me from the wrongdoing people. He had no map, no clear direction, just trust in Allah to guide him. Step by step, mile by mile, he pushed forward into the unknown. The heat was brutal, the desert stretched endlessly before him. His lips cracked from thirst, his legs trembled from exhaustion. He walked through valleys, climbed mountains, and crossed miles of burning sand. Every night he collapsed under the open sky, sleeping on nothing but dust. For days he traveled, alone, hungry, and completely drained, until finally, in the distance, he saw something new. Moses stumbled into Midian. his body weak but his heart still beating. The first thing he saw, a well crowded with shepherds watering their flocks. But off to the side, standing alone, were two young women. Their sheep were waiting, but they weren't getting water. Moses were exhausted, broken, and desperate for a drink himself. But something inside him told him to ask, "What's wrong? Why aren't you getting water for your flock?" The women looked at him surprised and said, "We can't go near the well until the men leave. And our father is an old man, too weak to help us." Moses' heart sunk. Even here, injustice existed. Weak people were forced to wait, pushed to the side. And once again, brothers and sisters, he couldn't just stand by and watch. So despite his exhaustion, despite his hunger, he stood up. He walked the well, pushed back the men, and took action. فَسَقَى لَهُمَا ثُمَّ تَوَلَّى إِلَى الظِّلِّ. So he watered their flock for them. Then he turned to the shade. He pulled the rope, filling the buckets with water. His muscles burned, his body screamed in pain, but he didn't stop, not until their sheep had all been given water. Then, without a word, he stepped aside and collapsed under a tree. There he was, homeless, jobless, penniless, a stranger in a foreign land. He had no plan, no future, nowhere to go next. So he did the only thing he could do. He turned to Allah. رَبِّ إِنِّي لِمَا أَنزَلْتَ إِلَيَّ مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَقِيرٌ. My Lord, I'm in desperate need of whatever good you send me. That was it. A short, raw, and honest prayer. He wasn't asking for riches, power, or a palace, just help. He sat there, waiting, not knowing what would happen next. But Allah had already written the next part of his story. Not long after, one of the young women returned. She walked carefully, a little shy, and said, "My father wants to meet you. He wants to thank you for helping us." Moses got up, dusted himself off, and followed her. His heart pounded. Was this his answer? They walked through Madian, past homes, fields, and farmlands, until they reached the house of a wise old man. That man, Prophet Shu'aib alayhi salam. And this meeting, it would change Moses' life forever. Shu'aib alayhi salam welcomed him, offering food, something Moses hadn't had in days. He listened to Moses' story, nodding as the young man spoke. And then the old prophet smiled and said, "Don't be afraid, you have escaped the wrongdoing people." Moses' heart finally felt at ease. Then Shu'aib made an incredible offer. "I want to marry you to one of my daughters, but in return you must work for me for 8 years." Moses sat there, stunned. Just hours ago he had nothing, and now a home, a job, a wife, and a future. And he accepted. قَالَ ذَلِكَ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَكَ. He said, "That's in between me and you." Moses spent years in Midian, working, learning, building a new life. But deep down, he knew his journey wasn't over. Years passed. Moses had a family now, a life, peace at last. But one night, something happened, a sign, a mystery. In the distance, a strange fire burned. It flickered, glowing in the cold desert night. Moses turned to his wife. "Wait here, I see something ahead." And as he walked toward it, he had no idea. His true mission was about to begin. The mission to face Pharaoh. The mission to free his people. The mission that will change history forever. This journey, it was just the beginning. Want to know what happened next? Trust me, you don't want to miss this part. Anyway, click this video up here to know more about another prophet. Until the next time, Assalamu alaikum.